Namaste, everybody. I bow to the love and the light that's absolutely in you. And today, I wanted to address a YouTube comment that is on my video. What video is it? Podcast Awakening from the Sleeping Mind, Our Path to Entitlement. And it is a post by Blondie Lynn 08, and she posted this comment a couple of weeks ago. And she writes, "I believe sometimes that I hate myself. I know it's just a thought and we aren't our thoughts, but when I challenge that thought, my brain is ready with so many answers, so many reasons why I'm not enough, so many ways I fall short of what I've been taught is perfection. My mind is heavy with this all the time. I'm in a constant state of self-loathing. I'm going to keep following your work, Lisa, and see where it leads me. I know I have enough love for myself, somewhere down deep, to push on because I too made the choice not to kill myself at 12 years old." So I wanted to address Blondie Lynn's comment, and I really hope, Blondie Lynn, you see this video. So when she says, "I believe sometimes that I hate myself," if you believe that you hate yourself, hear what I'm saying, Blondie Lynn and everybody else out there. I'm wearing really dark jeans today, and I just noticed my hands are like getting dark from the dye. So if you guys want to know what the hell that is, that's why. So, dear one, if you're saying that I believe sometimes that I hate myself, what we have to recognize is that there is a belief there, and a belief is really running the ship. So no matter what we think in our conscious mind, the belief is always going to win out, because the belief is a product of what's been planted in the subconscious mind, and the subconscious mind has now assumed to be true. Now remember, dear ones, the subconscious mind only accepts information. It never rejects information. So if you consistently, like I talk about in my 12-week breakthrough coaching program, if through repetition, observation, and consistency, a child continues to feel unseen and invalidated, this creates grooves in the child's thinking mind, the subconscious mind. And these patterns get ingrained in the child's subconscious mind. And when it becomes a belief, it's like a 500-year-old rooted tree. It's in there. And so the healing that you have to do, Blondie Lynn, is subconscious as well as conscious. If you're just going to attack this thought on the conscious realm, you're not going to win. Because when it comes to a thought over a belief, the belief is always going to win out. So that's why I believe we have got to start moving into, in terms of therapy, we're going to have to start moving into the subconscious realm, because talking about our beliefs is not going to change our beliefs, and that is not our fault. That's just not our fault. So we have to be a little bit more open when we approach our own healing, right, and our own recovery. And I do think that we have to be more proactive. And so many of you are. So many of you who write me on YouTube and write me privately, come through one of my coaching programs, you say to me, "Lisa, you know, I've been around the block with therapists, and you know, I learned more on YouTube about myself and my situation than I have in 20 years of therapy." Good for you, dear one. That's freaking awesome. Because even my therapist, who is brilliant, told me, "You're codependent." Well, actually, you're depressed, but you're depressed because you're codependent. And you're codependent because you have 2 unrecovered adult children of alcoholics raising you who don't even realize that their childhoods were terribly traumatic because of the way they were raised. My parents thought because they didn't drink, everything was cool. And because they didn't get drunk, everything was cool. You know, my parents didn't understand that we needed to feel seen. We were robots as children. We were soldiers, which is not natural for a child. A child is limbic. They're all emotional. They're supposed to. They are mind, body, and soul. And when you frighten a child to the point where that kid has to suppress their natural instinct to be a child, you have forced that child into a state of survival, and that fucks them up. Plain English. Plain English. It fucks them up. So we've got to become more cognizant as parents. If we're going to have children, we have to take it very, very seriously. We've got to know what these babies need. We've got to be willing to check ourselves. We've got to be mature enough to understand what they need. We've got to put our child's needs above our needs. So we've got to be in check emotionally. So, Blondie Lynn, I believe sometimes that I hate myself, so understand you got to challenge that belief. And the reality is, dear one, you are enough. No matter what this belief says, you are enough. Just because you hear it doesn't make it so. I know it's just a thought and we aren't our thoughts, but when I challenge that thought, you're challenging it consciously. You're gonna need a lot, you gotta go deeper than that, dear one. My brain is ready with so many answers. Now, the brain is a product. Now, the brain is organic and it has certain defense mechanisms like pain versus pleasure. That's not our fault. That's part of the primitive brain, right? And you said that my brain is ready with so many answers or rebuttals because you have cognitive dissonance, right? This is where this comes into, cognitive dissonance comes into play. So when you have a thought in the mental field, which is the conscious field, I'm enough. Lisa Romano says I'm enough. I gotta be enough, you know? Or I didn't ask to be born. I was innocent when I was getting programmed to hate myself. It's not my fault. You get that consciously, but unconsciously, if you have a belief running in the background that mommy and daddy, sister and brother, priest, rabbi, whoever, teacher, monsignor, whatever, older brother, uncle, aunt, whoever, foster mother, adoptive mother, whoever was your caretaker and person that you looked up to and thought was the authority of your life, if you have consistently gotten the message that you are not enough, then that thought in the conscious realm created a feeling which got downloaded into the subconscious realm, and now, bingo, you have a belief in the subconscious mind. So you now have cognitive dissonance, dear one. It's not your fault. Your brain is actually doing what it was designed to do. So you said my brain is ready with so many answers. Of course it is. So many reasons why I'm not enough. So many reasons why I fall short of what I've been taught is perfection. So you've been taught to seek perfection, which means you were never given validation by the people who raised you, right? Probably because they wanted to keep you on the hook, probably because they treated their children like little circus poodles, you know, like, yeah, maybe if you do this, maybe if you get an A, I'll pat you on the back and say, good job. Maybe if you lose a couple of pounds and you're the prom queen and king or whatever, I'll say good job. Maybe if you become a fireman or an attorney or a doctor, maybe then I'll say, good job. So you say that my mind is heavy with this all the time. Of course it is. I'm in a constant state of self-loathing. Okay. I'm going to keep following your work and see where it leads me. Okay. I know I have enough love for myself somewhere down deep to push on because I too made the choice not to kill myself at 12 years old. Okay. So Blondie Lynn, this is my theory, right? So, people who imagine being born blind and you suddenly are healed and you now can see. You, more than a sighted person who's always had sight, is going to appreciate the sun, the moon, the stars, the oceans, bumblebees, dragonflies, butterflies. You're going to appreciate more because you understood the darkness of it. If you were a child who came from a home that was purely neglectful and you never had an ice cream sundae, and all of a sudden you're 12 years old, you're invited to a party, and you are given an ice cream sundae. Now, the room was full of kids who've had ice cream sundaes once a week or every other day, whatever. Ice cream sundaes are just part of their norm. You are going to enjoy that ice cream sundae a lot more than all the other kids there who have had ice cream sundaes throughout their lifetime. So it is the lack and the contrast of the lack to that which you have now received, which creates appreciation in you and gratitude in you because you have known the lack of this thing. It's the same thing with the recovery journey. When you have been abused, which you have been, even if your house looked perfect, if you were raised by perfectionistic parents, if you were raised by people who were very professional and intelligent and they wanted their children to be the same and you should just achieve, and you felt unseen, that's abusive, right? Because you're not getting the type of authentic heart-to-heart connection from your parents that you need to really develop, on a natural timeline. And, you end up being self-actualized very naturally because you've had this experience of being seen by another that has conveyed to you that you are enough. So, in order for you to love the self, you have to experience being loved by someone else first. That is the truth. That's the truth. That's a truism. And, you, like me, like so many of us who follow my work in my coaching programs, read my books, whatever, those of us on this path have learned that we have to somehow override our psychological attempt at validation, which is we are designed and driven to do. We've got to override this and love ourselves in spite of not experiencing love from another. We have to learn how to do that. And once we learn how to do that, that's when our reality begins to shift, right? So those of us on this path who have known great lack of love, lack of connection, lack of authenticity, lack of integration, lack of feeling seen by another human being. Those of us who have known desperation, who have been so programmed to seek the validation of other people, who have attracted narcissistic people into our lives, and they're flying monkeys, and we have been gaslighted our entire lives, and we haven't even realized it, and we're just starting to wake up, and we want to be free of it, but we're stuck in it, and now we're afraid to rock the boat, and we're afraid to make that first step, and oh my God, it's so terrifying to tell this narcissist I want nothing to do with him, or I want nothing to do with her. Holy crap, it is terrifying, terrifying. So those of us who have experienced these experiences, we know the darkness. We know the darkness. But I will tell you what, we're just like that kid experiencing that ice cream sundae for the first time. When we, for the first time, learn to honor the self and decide to set a boundary. Or we delete that text message by that narc. When we walk away from that narcissist who's trying to bait us into a conversation and an argument. When we go no contact, or we go minimal contact, or we don't react to the narc that we live with, we just let them be. We just pull our energy from their situation, from the situation. When we begin to do those types of things, we increase our vibration because we're finally holding on to our own energy. And we begin to understand what it's like to walk in the light. We have to start somewhere. Dear one, this is an action-based universe. So execution is everything. So to know something, to have an idea, and then to not execute that idea in an action-based universe, because we are action beings, right? We are spirits, and we have this physical body that acts, that moves. Our muscles contract. We move through this thing that we think is space and time. So this is an action-based universe. We have to act on this knowledge that we are receiving and achieving and gaining. We have to act on it. And sometimes the action is inaction, meaning that, you know, someone from my 12-week breakthrough coaching program just posted a post in our secret Facebook page. And she said that she's so proud of herself because she's no contact with her narc, but she's got to work with him. She received a text message from him, and he baited her into, it was a lovely text message. He introduced he baited her, right? So the first text message is usually loving because he wants to bait you in. And as soon as she started to engage, that's when he started to like vomit all over her, right? Classic, classic. You ignore a narc long enough, they come running back and they try to engage. But it's really, they just want you, they want to get their foot in the door, and they want the opportunity to vomit all over you and make you feel like crap again. That's their goal. So, you know, the fact that you're feeling more powerful than a narc, they don't like that. They got to pull you down, and they find ways to do it. So the first time you delete that text message, that's an inact. Well, it looks, actually, that's not an inaction. That's acting out. You're actually acting on that which you feel. You're deleting the text message. But sometimes what we have to do is just not engage. Sometimes, you know, we've got to walk away. I remember when I was working in a wellness center, and it was really very soon after my ex-husband and I broke up, and we were living separately. And we lived in a really small town, and everybody gossiped. Holy crap. It was like Knots Landing, dating myself, and Dynasty. And here I was, you know, in the locker room, and these two older women who were friends with my ex-mother-in-law began talking about me like I wasn't even there. And I just remember saying to myself, like, these women are deliberately talking this smack about me. Like, this is, I would never do that to somebody. Like, that is just obnoxious. nobody should throw stones because we've all made mistakes. But anyway, I just turned around and I said to the ladies, I said, good day, ladies. I said, you know, everything that you just said is actually a falsehood. I said, but I'm not going to really debate this with you. Bye-bye. Have a good day. And I walked out. There were other times where people said things to me and accused me of things that went on in our divorce that didn't go on in the divorce. They were just trying to justify why we were getting divorced. And there were times I just like shook my head and, you know, in my head I was like, that ain't true. You know, and I walked away. But every time we do that, we're holding on to our own light and we're learning to love ourselves. So dear one, dear Blondie Lynn 08 or 08, your mind is heavy with this all the time, dear one, and I can totally relate to you, and so many, all of us can, right? So shout out, please, YouTube viewers, please shout out to Blondie Lynn and encourage her to hang on and to confront the belief. She's got to direct her thought process and flow her focus towards that belief. She has to challenge that belief. When that belief comes up, like I'm no good, you have to immediately go to, no, I am good. I was programmed not to believe I was good, but I am good. All day, every day, consistently, Post-it notes all over the house. Understanding that on an innate level, you are a divine being, and you were innocent, and your mind was corrupted, and this ain't your fault. So, dear one, I believe in you. I encourage you, and I ask that YouTube viewers out there, in love and light, let's send Blondie Lynn some love. She is one of us. We are all on the same path, and that's towards emotional evolution, the evolution of our consciousness, and we are all on the path to enlightenment. We're all here to discover that we are enough in spite of what we have experienced in our childhood homes. In spite of the programming, we are enough. We can rise up out of the subconscious mind. We can give rebirth to ourselves. We can actually become reborn in our own concept of self. We can learn to believe that we are the love, and we are the life, and we are the light. We are our own light. There is a light within you, dear one. At our subatomic core, we are all light. It is true. You are light. And the more enlightened you become, the more you light up right where you are. The more you help your children, the more you help your coworkers, just by being a brighter light, a being who doesn't really care about what people say about her anymore. I mean, that's amazing. That's tremendous. So you are the light, dear one. You are the light. You got to confront the dark. Blondie Lynn, namaste. I bow to the love and the light that is absolutely in you, dear one, and I know that you can do this. Stick to this work. Get to doing my meditations twice a day, I suggest, one in the morning and one at night. Got plenty of them on YouTube and also on Insight Timer. And also, dear ones, I will be in New York, Long Island, February 25th. You can go to my website and purchase tickets through that way. I will also be in New Jersey, March 26th. We're selling tickets at the door. Bring exact change. Give a girl a break. That information is also on my website. And my next coaching program launches June 1st. Hope you get in on that. And my master's program, which is all going to be about manifesting abundance, manifesting love, maintaining your vibrations, that should be ready. I would probably say within the next 2 months or so, I'll be ready to rock and roll with that. You guys can get in on that too. Namaste, everybody. I bow to the love and the light that is absolutely in you. Bye.